Hi, Stan. How are you? Fine. So in the last class we were talking about the meaning of the demand and the different types of demand. We were talking about 5 types of demand and the meaning of demand. Now today in this class we will be talking about determinants of demand or the factors affecting demand. Determinants of demand. Alright. Determinants means the factors which are affecting the demand of a particular commodity. Okay. First of all, there are so many determinants which affect the demand of a commodity. We will see everything one by one. The first one is price of the commodity. Price of a commodity. See, this is a chalk. And the first determinant which affect the demand of this chalk is price of the chalk. So the price of the commodity means the money that we have to pay in the market or in the shop for purchasing this particular commodity. That is the price of this commodity. So there is an inverse relationship between the price of the commodity and the demand of the commodity. So the first one is price of the commodity. Okay, price of the commodity. What do you mean by an inverse relationship? We will see. Anyway, we will see in the law of demand that we are going to speak in the coming classes. But anyway, there is an inverse relationship between the price of the commodity and the demand of the commodity, which means when the price of the commodity increases, the demand of the commodity decreases. When the price of the commodity decreases, the demand of the commodity increases. See, there is a clear example. Normally when we go for shopping, I'm talking about the normal people. There are somebody who is exception. Definitely I know you may be thinking about all those things. But now, when we talk about the normal consumers, when a person is getting into a shop and suppose he wants to purchase something, the first thing that he will be asking is the price of the commodity. Bhaiya ji, 1 kilo apple. Price kitna hai? Is it not? I want 1 kilogram of apple, and before that we will ask the price of the apple. And if the price of the apple is very low, then we will order for another 1 kilogram of it. Suppose I have planned to purchase 1 kilogram and I have 50 rupees. And I thought that 1 kilogram, the price of the apple will be 50 rupees. And when I reached the market and I inquired about the price of the apple, and the shopkeeper told it is 25 rupees for 1 kilogram of apple. What I will do? Definitely, normally I may order 1 more kilogram of apple. So there is an inverse relationship. That is what I want to say. Which means when the price of the commodity increases, the demand of the commodity will decrease. And when the price of the commodity decreases, when the price of the commodity decreases, demand of the commodity will increase. So this particular relationship can be called as, or it is known as, price demand. It is known as price. It is known as price demand. You should note it down. Price demand is very important. So instead of asking about the relationship between the price of the commodity and demand, there can be questions like, what is price demand? Okay. So price demand means it is the demand which arises from the price of the commodity. Okay. Next one is income of the consumer. The next determinant of the demand of the commodity is income of the consumer. So what is what do you mean by income of the consumer? What do you mean by income? Do you remember what we have studied about income? Don't know? Anyway, income means it is the earning of a person. Okay. The income of the consumer is another determinant of demand of the commodity. How income of the consumer become a determinant of demand of the commodity? See, it is the purchasing power of the consumer. That is why. Income of the consumer is the purchasing power of the consumer. So, if the consumer is not able to purchase, then he will not be, from the part of that particular consumer, there will not be any demand for that particular commodity. So, income of the consumer is another determinant for the demand of the consumer. Demand of the commodity. So, suppose a consumer is a rich person. From his part, the demand for anything will be unrestricted. And suppose a particular consumer is very poor. From his part, the demand for any commodity will be restricted because he will have to think about the price of the commodity. So, why do he think about the price of the commodity? Because he has to consider his income. Okay. So, income is another determinant for the demand of the consumer commodity. So, when we are talking about a particular commodity that is normally purchased by the common people, then when we speak about the demand of that particular commodity, we will have to think about the income of those people who are purchasing the same commodity. Now, see, there is a direct relationship between income of the consumer and the demand for a commodity. When the income increases, demand also will increase. When the income decreases, the demand also will decrease. Did you understand? Here there is a inverse relationship. Here in the second point there is a direct, I said inverse relationship, right? It is not like that. There is a direct relationship between income of the consumer and the demand for a commodity. There is a direct relationship, which means when the income increases, demand increases. When the income decreases, demand decreases. So, there is a direct relationship between income of the consumer and the demand for that particular commodity. And there is an inverse relationship between price of the commodity and demand for that particular commodity. Okay. So, while we talk about the income of the consumer, let us talk about three different types of commodity. There are three different types of commodity that the demand for which varies according to the income of the consumer. There are three different types of commodity. So, and the income, according to the income of the consumer, the demand for these three commodity will vary differently. Okay, the first one is normal goods. Okay, normal goods means the very normal goods that we are consuming. Just as I said in the example of apple, orange, or any vegetables, fruits, all those things which we are normally using in our day-to-day life. They are normal commodities. So, the demand for the normal commodity will increase according to the increase in the income of the consumer, and the demand for normal goods will decrease according to the decrease in the income of the consumer. Did you understand? Here we are not talking about the price of the commodity. You should note that we are not talking about the price of the commodity, we are talking about the income of the consumer. So, in the case of normal goods, the demand will increase according to the increase in the income of the consumer, and the demand will decrease according to the decrease in the income of the consumer. Second one is inferior goods. Okay. Second one is inferior goods. Have you heard about inferior goods? Have you heard about inferior goods? We have studied in the previous year. Anyway, inferior goods are those goods, the demand for which decreases according to the increase in the income of the consumer. Inferior goods means, inferior goods are those goods whose demand decreases according to the increase in the income of the consumer. For example, consider the case of a poor man. Those who are very poor, they may be consuming, what is that? Maize. You know what is maize. So, those who are very poor, they used to consume maize. And maize is considered as an inferior good because maize is normally consumed by the poor people. That is the concept. Okay. When the income of the consumer increases, the consumer means the one who is consuming maize. Suppose he got a new job and his income increased. Definitely he will migrate from he will stop consuming maize, and instead of that he will start to consume some other commodity which the rich people are consuming. Let us take an example. Suppose a person is having 10 rupee as his income, 10 rupee his daily income, and for 1 kilogram of maize it costs around 8 rupees. Alright, it costs around 8 rupees. Daily he will have to purchase 1 kilogram of maize for him and his family members. And now, so after 8 rupee from his income, there remains only 2 rupee. So with that remaining 2 rupee, and for 1 kilogram of rice, it costs around, suppose it is 10 rupee. For 1 kilogram of rice, it is 10 rupee. So he will not be able to purchase 1 kilogram of rice because his income is 10 rupee, and after purchasing maize, he will have to, or he may have to purchase something else. So for that, there should be something. So this 2 rupee can be used for purchasing something else. And for 1 kilogram of rice, it costs around 10 rupee. Now, suppose his income increases from 10 rupee to 15 rupee. His income increased from 10 rupee to 15 rupee. Definitely, he will stop purchasing maize, that is 8 rupee. He will stop purchasing maize, and instead of that, he will go for 10 rupee, that is 1 kilogram of rice. 1 kilogram of rice is enough for 1 day for him and his family. Then he will go for 1 kilogram of rice. Then after purchasing 1 kilogram of rice, there is 5 rupee remaining. That 5 rupee can be used for purchasing something else, or 5 rupee can be used for saving. Did you understand? So here maize is an inferior good, and the demand for which decreased when the income of the consumer increased. His income was 10 rupee, then there was a demand of 1 kilogram per day from this particular consumer, and when his income increased from 10 rupee to 15 rupee, the demand for maize decreased from 1 kilogram to 0 from his part, and now the demand for rice increased. Rice is a normal good. So when the income of the consumer increased, the demand for rice increased. Did you understand? Alright. So we talked about normal goods, inferior goods, and the next one is inexpensive goods of necessities. Alright, inexpensive goods of necessities. So inexpensive goods of necessities means those goods which are necessary in our day-to-day life, but which are not expensive. For example, matchbox. You know what is matchbox? Or salt. See, the price of one matchbox is 1 rupee. If my, suppose my income is 10 rupee, suppose my income is 50 rupee, suppose my daily income is 100 rupee, or suppose it is 1000 rupee, whatever it be, I may purchase the matchbox as per my requirement. I may not purchase 10 or 50 matchboxes if my income increases. Will I? Normally we will not, is it not? Or we will not purchase more amount of salt when our income increases. Is it not? We will not. So we will be purchasing only according to our necessity. So whether the income is high or low, in the previous case, when he was purchasing 1 kilogram of maize, 2 rupee was remaining. So he can use that 2 rupee for purchasing salt, is it? So this inexpensive goods of necessities are those goods which are very necessary for our day-to-day life, but which are not expensive. So the change in income will not affect in any way the demand of those commodities. Okay. So let's see a graph of these 3 commodities. See, in this case, in the y-axis we will be considering income. All right, and in the x-axis we will be considering quantity of the commodity. And now, in the case of normal goods, see, it starts from here. When the income increases, the demand of normal goods will increase. And why it is curvical in shape, that we will discuss later. But anyway, when the income increases, the quantity, see, here we can see when the income increases, according to the increase, the quantity increases. Is it not? From here, it increases to the next point. So when the income increases, the quantity also increases. Now, in the case of the second category, inferior goods, in the beginning the demand will be more and normally it will start to decrease. Or we can draw in a different way, it can be little more smaller than the previous one. See, in the case of inferior goods, when the income increases, see, when the income was very low, the demand for this commodity was up to here, see, and when the income again started to increase, the demand for the commodity started to decrease. It is coming back. It was increasing and then it started to come back. After the half of the graph, it started to come back, which means based on the increase in the income, the demand for inferior good started to decrease. Now let's see the graph of inexpensive goods of necessities. Suppose this is the quantity demanded for inexpensive goods of necessities. So the graph will be a straight line parallel to y-axis. That will be a straight line parallel to y-axis. Why? Because whatever be the increase in the income, it does not affect the quantity demanded of the good, that is inexpensive necessities. Alright, the demand is, suppose the demand is H. OH is whatever be the income of the consumer, OH will be the quantity demanded of that particular commodity. Okay? I hope you understood. Alright. Next one is, so the first point, the first thing which will affect the the demand of the commodity is price of the commodity, and the second thing that affect the demand of the commodity is income of the consumer. And the third one is consumers' taste and preference. I am writing this graph. Okay. Consumers' taste and preferences. I will write here. First one, second one. Consumers' taste and preferences. What do you mean by consumers' taste and preferences? When you go to textile shop, normally do you select any garment which the shopkeeper gives you? No, is it not? You will not. There we have a preference, there we have a taste. So we will consume the dresses, or we will purchase the dress according to our taste and preference. Is it? So every consumer has his own taste and preference. So a commodity may be cheap and easily available, but if that particular commodity is not matching the taste and preference of that particular consumer, definitely he will not purchase. So another fact which affects the demand of the commodity is the taste and preference of the consumer. If the consumer is not preferring for that particular commodity, he will not purchase. Then the demand will decrease. If the consumer is preferring for that particular commodity, then the demand for that commodity will increase. Or the taste of the consumer is not matching with that particular commodity, then he may not be purchasing. Okay. Did you understand? It's very simple. All right. Then the fourth one is prices of related goods. Important. Fourth one is related. Okay. Third one is, fourth one is prices of related goods. What do you mean by related goods? See, when we talk about related goods, there are two types of goods. They are complementary goods and substitute goods or competitive goods. Yeah. Substitute or competitive goods, and second one is supplement. First one is substitute goods or competitive goods, and second one is complementary good. Okay. So, the first one, substitute goods. What do you mean by substitute good? I will give an example. Tea or coffee. Tea or coffee. Alright. Substitute goods are those goods which satisfy the same type of needs that we get from a particular commodity. So, take the example of tea and coffee. When a particular person is preferring for one glass of coffee, the same person can prefer for one glass of tea also. There is a fact related to the taste and preference of the consumer that we are not considering here. We are just focusing on the related goods. Okay. So the same satisfaction that a person is getting from tea can get from coffee also. So suppose the price of the coffee is very high, then the consumer may go for tea. If the price of the tea is very high, the consumer may go for coffee. Alright. He needs to get the same satisfaction. So if the price of coffee is very high, he may go for one cup of tea. And the price of tea is very high, he may go for 1 cup of coffee. So that is substitute goods. And that, alright, see, let us see the graph of substitute goods. Okay. If the, suppose here coffee, it is coffee and here it is tea. It is the price of coffee on the y-axis, and on the x-axis it is the demand for tea. If the price of coffee is very high, then demand for tea will increase. So the graph will be like this. See, when the price of the coffee increases, the demand of the tea increases. Alright. Next one is complementary good. Okay. So what do we mean by complementary good? The goods which are complementary to each other. Just as we have seen in the previous section, the vehicle and the fuel, or the pen and the ink, both are complementary to each other. So we cannot use a pen without ink, or we cannot use ink alone without the help of a pen. So both are complementary. So the price of the ink definitely will affect the demand of pen. Okay. So in the case of substitute goods, the price of a substitute good will directly affect the demand of the other good. That means here the price of coffee is directly affecting the demand of tea. When the price of coffee increases, the demand for tea also increases. And in the case of complementary goods, the price of the first commodity will inversely affect the demand for the second one. That means if the price of ink is very high, the demand for pen will decrease. If the price of ink is very low, demand for pen will increase. So complementary good means the goods which are used together, or the commodities which cannot be used alone. Car and petrol, ink and pen, all those things are complementary goods. Okay. So the demand for these goods, that means the demand for substitute goods and the demand for complementary goods, both demands are called as cross demand. Okay. They are called as cross demand. Okay. It is cross demand. Alright, so here we have talked about all those 4 points. That is the price of the commodity, income of the consumer, then consumer's taste and preference, then last one, price of related goods. Okay. And the rest of the points we will discuss in the coming class. Alright.